Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to the semifinal round of our Season 3 of the Subscriber Game Tournament as we continue with the matchup between Yulia and Trivenicus as they are now in their Match 3 tiebreaker, with Yulia picking up the green side versus Trivenicus on the red side. And let's jump into units as there are no pick bans. Yulia is going to go with Xu Huang, Zhang Liang, and Pei Yuanshao, the army that won her the first match, and the army composition for these generals are very similar. There's slightly more infantry and less cavalry, as we have still the 3 Pearl Dragons, 3 Ji Halbert Qingzhou units added in there, and then 6 units of Tyrant Slayers for Zhang Liang once again, and then the same 5 Peasant Spearmen plus 1 Horseback Huntsman to add a little bit of range harassment, as there are some forests on this map. And then on the red side for Trivenicus, we have Cao Cao, Zhang Jiao, and Liu Chong. So looking at the pick bans, Zhang Jiao seems to be a great ban for Yulia from the 2 previous match, as Trivenicus does pick him up here right away. And of course, he's picked for those Messenger of Heaven. And they're going to be a very decent matchup into those Tyrant Slayers, as you have double unit size. And on top of that, we have 3 units of Chen Peacekeepers on Liu Chong for a little bit more harass and also cavalry help. And then there are 6 units of those Qingzhou Halberts on Cao Cao as well. So the entire army composition is geared towards beating those Tyrant Slayers, as Trivenicus has identified that as a core target or core strategy of Yulia's play. I'm surprised Yulia did not go with Liu Chong and Mu Lu to go back to her comp that she used in all her previous blind pick matchups, as perhaps she's worried that Trivenicus is going to go for a slight counter. And in this case, maybe, because the counter to elephants here is really less infantry and more cavalry, which is the case here for Trivenicus, but there's still 6 units of Qingzhou Halberts that he can crush with those elephant units. And then the wolf pack would have been good against the cavalry. In this case, we're running cheap peasant spearmen, which could work. They need some help. They can't be the first one to make contact, or else they're probably going to rout. And running into Liu Chong, we're going to have a very similar problem as we had in the first game, where if Trivenicus kites back, on this map it's actually a lot easier to kite back because there's more open space, and there's also elevated area above Trivenicus' starting position. You can actually kite back quite well with Liu Chong and just try to spam out as many show of force as you can, which is why Cao Cao is brought for this comp, because Cao Cao has the best cooldown reduction ability in the game, and you're going to get a lot more show of force in the same amount of time, and they're probably going to be used to target units. And once those units go down, in this case, I will probably target the Tyrant Slayers. That's the only group here that pack a punch that can kind of sway the general fight, because the general fight is definitely going to favor Yulia here with not only stronger generals, but also units that can help the generals. But in the end, if enough messengers stay alive, they can also help and take out the generals as well. So Xu Huang is very important, as his slam ability is going to be key to take out some of the enemy cavalry units, and Trivenicus just need to keep poking. Yulia needs to close the gap and do so at the lowest cost possible, and then see how the fight evolves beyond that. So let's take a look at deployment. Now both players are deploying on their sides, nothing too crazy here. For Yulia, it's about closing this gap. For Trivenicus, is how many pokes he can get out before the 2 groups make contact with each other. Strange that this Horseback Huntsman's placed in the back. I guess perhaps Yulia's worried about a flank, but even then, there's no reason why this unit needs to be hiding here. And we're going to see poke right away. It's a very flat map. This is a very fair open field map in that sense, and it's going to favor Liu Chong quite a lot, which Yulia should know. She sniped SA Wang Ping out of the tournament on this map as well. And the cavalry's here just to help, to prevent any sort of attempts on the general directly. Wow, not only do we have... Wow, this is insane actually. Not only do we have Impervious Presence from Cao Cao, we have Inspiring Surge from Zhang Jiao as well. It's going to be double cooldown reduction, like more than double. Every 1 second, a second goes down. So the cooldown on Liu Chong Show of Force with both active... Yeah, 1 second is equal to 8 seconds. The cooldown cycle on this is 60 seconds. It's super fast. It's like 7.5 seconds. Can you fire again? Already? Yes, he can. Wow, this strategy. He's going for units. He's trying to do a little bit of morale hits. Yulia has to commit, but she's not favored in this fight. They're just more cavalry from Messenger. And you can see Trivenicus is not interested in giving this fight. Every second he can delay is actually going to mean something, but because it's like 7-second cooldown. And then the units are going back into the hills too, getting this elevated position with the trees. Yulia can't keep chasing because her infantry are slower, so she's basically sending her cavalry into a fight that's not balanced. And Yulia's not trying to change any of the generals, she's just trying to whittle down the Tyrant Slayers in the meantime. You can totally ignore range cavalry damage. They don't do anything, especially when you have melee cav. Just let them shoot. Cao Cao needs to stay close to give him that range. Yep, he needs to get that bonus. And the cooldown's going to be nuts here. Yeah, Yulia needs to get the infantry up. Her choices of infantry seems to favor things without shields. And that's going to be a problem, running into things with range. Yeah, they got hit. The morale is going to just do wonders here. Cheap units. The peasants also going to have an issue with that too. They're trying to get into the mountains here. Not sure if that's wise either. Which one's just going to feast on this, keep shooting them. The cooldown is nuts. They need to be tighter together though. He's not getting the full cooldown reduction all the time. Inspiring Surge is much shorter range. Imperious Presence, I think it's 100 range. Oh, it's infinite range. Wow. So basically all their cooldowns are shorter. Zhangjiao is the key. Zhangjiao needs to stay close. The infantry's been called back to help. They should actually pull up and start shooting as well. They're going towards the waterfall. He's going to run out of places to run. He actually should take this high ground. It's pretty good. Alright, we got the commit. Let's see the micro on the cavalry. Yeah, they're all been sent to one target. And you can see Trivenicus cavalry's actually used a little bit better here. Now, Xu Huang needs to get a couple good slams in here to even out the odds. Why pull them? This is the mistake. Sure, the infantry's here, but pulling out is the side that's going to get hit for free, basically. The infantry's here too. They should just stay and fight. The poke is done. This is when the fight needs to go. Like, there's not going to be enough distance for them to charge in again. There's no slam ability on these three generals. That's the weakness for Trivenicus' side. So once this poke is done, this is it. This is where the fighting... These cavalry are not being used in combat. They need to be pulled out. I don't like this. This clump is the chance to slam. That's basically what Xu Huang should have done. Stay in here and just slam. Trying to do fancy flank, but they're just taking damage as they're pulling out of these fights. It's not wise. Trying to stop Liu Chong's harassment. The 3 reserve Chen Peacekeeper are coming out. They should just take these fights. They actually win these. Still trying to kite Liu Chong around. Well, they're going for Pearl Dragons. Well, they weren't braced, so this is a decent charge. You can see the heavy emphasis on chasing down Liu Chong. In my opinion, maybe not that useful of a target at this point. Are we getting decent slams here? Not really. He needs to get in there. It was very costly to pull the Tyrant Slayers out, and the Peasant Spearmen can't stay in fights. That's the problem. They're too cheap. Their morale is too low. It's not a great unit choice. Alright, I mean, Xu Huang trying his best to win out of there, which is normal. But you can see the routing. And I don't even think Pearl Dragons is a great choice. It's kind of this in-between thing that's not really anything. Relying on evasions, we have all these charges. The peasants need to be thrown back in, or else they're kind of pointless. Requires a lot of micro. Xu Huang is winning here at the cost of a little bit of his health. Yeah, Liu Chong's just being annoying. Liu Chong's decently fast with his horse. They can't catch him. They're both 100 speed. Especially with Cao Cao giving nature's ally, that's why he's so fast. Xu Huang's actually the one who can catch him, but Xu Huang's being used here. What are the Tyrant Slayers doing? Yeah. What are the Tyrant Slayers doing? They've been pulled out and then they just all died? There's one here. The unit fight is going very poorly for Yulia. They're basically all wiped. Pei Wenshao and Xu Huang are going to be unbreakable. Zhang Liang's not going to be unbreakable. So Zhang Liang's probably going to route to army loss soon. They do clean up all the messengers, but the cost is pretty much all the infantry. We saw the Pro Dragon didn't really last in the charge against the Chen Peacekeepers, and now Chen Peacekeepers can play kite out the rest of the infantry. They're not going to get a chance to make contact again, in my opinion. And we're going to get swarms of infantry against Xu Huang. Xu Huang looks like he dismounted by choice. His horse is still there, so he can get back on if he wants. Zhang Jiao is still a card that they can play. Just dismount him and charge him in. Should have been sent in a little bit earlier. Zhang Liang is trying to chase down Liu Chong, but you can see help coming in now to deflect him. Okay, they get a little group back here, but these are not going to hold. They are just very fragile morale-wise, and they're probably going to be gone in a straight-up fight with anything. Xu Huang should look to mount. Yep. Okay, we dodged it. Very lucky. They should be used as melee cav at this point. What's the point of shooting here into a melee cav? They should just switch on their swords and just charge. Xu Huang should just kill him. No. This is a missed opportunity. There's no units around him. Just kill him. Yeah, see, now Xu Huang's being sent to charge after the target, which, I mean, he was busy doing a very important job, so that was fine. Yulia's got the Peasant Spearmen into the cav, but I don't know they're going to do enough against something as expensive as Chen Peacekeepers. Alright, Zhang Jiao's dismounted, so he can't really help too much. Cao Cao should get into the fight. Cao Cao can fight. Yep, they don't do enough. They don't hold. They have no morale here. These two generals are too slow. They should be just killing the cavalry. Just turn around and kill the cavalry. Stop chasing something you can't catch. They should just stay and kill the cavalry. There we go. Yeah, it's so easy. Just kill a bunch of these cavalry. Have Xu Huang sit on Liu Chong, and Liu Chong can't do his show of force, and that's basically all you need. Everyone else can just stay and fight the cavalry. Oh, he got caught up. It's not giving an attack command. He's just hitting whatever's hitting him. It's a missed opportunity. Well, they're going to get Liu Chong here. Stop trying to run. Just fight. He's going to route to army loss anyways. Peasant come back. They're not going to do enough damage. They're going to route once they do get into a fight. Zhang Liang, being not unbreakable, should just stand and fight whatever units he can before he routes. Because once these units are gone, I'm sure he's going to route to army loss. Yep, army loss kicking in. What a waste. Wait, he's also not unbreakable. He was just... oh, wow, what's happening with the graphic? Wow, there we go. That was weird. He was just unbreakable because he had the unyielding earth active. Xu Huang goes down. Those two generals were wasted. I think Pei Wenshao and Zhang Liang could have killed so many units if they were just sent to go kill units instead of chasing after something they can't catch and they're just running around until all their units died. And Xu Huang could have been the one chasing the Ultra, and that was it, just to stop him from using Show of Force. But definitely a very good composition put together by Trivenicus, with the cooldown reduction from both Cao Cao and from Zhang Jiao. And Zhang Jiao wasn't even used in this case properly, but he still helped out, and Liu Chong was able to poke his way, force some action to the army. The unit quality choices by Yulia is also very questionable, and we'll take a look at the numbers now. So, Peasant Spearmen, good for its value. When you have limited funding like this, there could be an argument for them, but when you try to upgrade them a couple times, it means you had money for something better. I am very certain that if Xu Huang just went full Qingzhou units instead of any Pearl Dragons, and then run the extra fund on Pei Shop for some better quality units, even if you're going with things like Guardian of the Land or something like that, it's just going to be straight up better than running Peasant Spearmen. They just don't last in any fights. They get poked down. You're running into range compositions. You can see Chen Peacekeepers got so many kills at the end there just by chasing down a couple Peasant Spearmen that shows back up. And they also could just shoot at all the units on Yulia's side. There's no shield, there's no range. You are forced to close the gap every time. And that's basically what sealed it. I also think the Tyrant Slayers were used quite poorly. They committed into like one target on the charge again, and then they tried to pull out of a fight, which is also a very bad decision most of the time. And even though Xu Huang was able to wear out all the messengers, I don't think the Tyrant Slayers were ever used properly for what they're meant to be used in this comp, which is one, to help against the cavalry fight. They should be spread out more, send one unit in, and then also chase down the generals. They could be the ones chasing down the generals. There's no smash ability on any of the generals Trivenicus has. If he was chased by these Tyrant Slayers, they would have been a lot better than having those two Yellow Turban generals with only 100 speed doing the chasing. Definitely check the speed on your generals. You can't catch them. There's no point. Just have them fight something, especially since you're at risk getting army lost anyways. And that's really what determined the match. So huge congratulations to Trivenicus making the finals. Very good match put together here. I think slight improvement could be done with how Zhang Jiao is used and also how Cao Cao is used, especially after the fighting breaks out. Once you have the fight break out, you're not going to get much poke left. Definitely the speed difference helped, but that's not going to be the case every time. So if Neutron just gets chased down in the future, the comp falls apart and the result could be very different. The unit composition was very well designed. I think it would have also done very well against elephants, because messengers are basically going to be thrown at the elephants to stop their charge, protect the infantry, and then the extra numbers on the messenger would have combated the Tyrant Slayers quite well as well. So definitely well planned and well executed here. And we have one side of the semifinals done. We still have Sleeping Phoenix versus Will Be Deed, which will be tomorrow. So hopefully you guys stay tuned for that, and see you guys then. Bye.